Welcome, everyone. First of all, it means thanks. Thanks, guys. And I'm not going to get all emotional, but seriously, thank you so much for coming. There are so many people that I love in this room, and actually so many people that I don't know in this room. So many of you that I love brought friends, and it just means so much to me. So thank you. So welcome. So I'm going to start by kind of sharing why I decided to even host this ladies' night, because it really lays a foundation for what I'm going to be talking to you about tonight. So last year I did a lot of coaching, life coaching, teaching, and a little bit of speaking, and I really love speaking, and I want to do more speaking. So I asked one of my girlfriends, who her name is Heather. She is a big-time keynote speaker, and I said, how can I get more speaking events? How can I become more of a paid speaker? And the advice she gave me, quite frankly, freaked me out. She told me, she said, rent a space somewhere and get an audience and develop a speech, rehearse a speech, deliver it, and have it professionally videoed, and then you can have it to give to companies that might be interested in you speaking. It sounded absolutely horrible. When she first said that to me, I said, no, thank you, sir. We're not going to be doing that. I was imagining like a small place at like the Best Western and my family being forced to sit and engage and I was like, absolutely not. But the more and more I thought about it, and I thought I wanted to up level in this way. I wanted to do more speaking. I wanted to up level my life. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I thought that this is exactly what I should be doing. So although I decided at first it was horrible, I then decided that it was an amazing idea. And so here we are, and I decided to make an event out of it. I decided that I was going to make a big fun ladies' night, and I also knew that deciding what I wanted to really think about it was very important, but I also had to be willing to be scared and do it anyways. And that is what I'm going to be talking to you about tonight. I'm going to be talking to you about up-leveling your body and life. I'm going to be talking about why I think you should do it, and I'm going to be talking about how to do it. And it really starts with your mind, with your mindset. Specifically, what you think and believe. What we think and believe affects everything in our life. What we think and believe creates the results in our lives. And I want you tonight to leave totally fired up. That's my intention, for you to leave totally fired up. But I also want you to leave to have the skills to be able to up-level your body and life. I want you to not only be like, that was a great speech, that was such a fun night, but I want you to be able to think, okay, I think I know what to do. I know what to do differently in order to get what I want out of my body and life. So for those of you who don't know me very well, my name is Courtney Gray. I am a body and life coach. I help women lose weight permanently by feeling more in control around food, by eating differently, moving more, and changing their self-concept, and really changing the way they live. It's permanent weight loss. And what I'm going to talk to you tonight about is up-leveling your body and life. And I'm going to start with a story, because most of you in here, as I'm looking around, I know are moms, so I know that you'll resonate with this story. So for a few years ago, many years ago, we really went through a hard time with one of our boys, Tyler. Tyler was really struggling at school, and he would come home, and he would be really pissed off, and he would escalate and really take it out on me. My husband was at work, so I was the one that took the brunt of that. And it was a really hard time, not only for him, but for our whole family. And, we're a pretty intense family as it is. I don't know if many of you know my husband is a college basketball coach. He's very intense, very competitive. And we have 3 boys that have very intense and amazing personalities, and I'm pretty fiery myself. So we already have a level 10 household in our household. And so he would come home and he would get pissed off, and he would go here and I would go here. He would step up and I would step up. And it was not good. And I'm not the type of mom that says, you wait till your dad comes home. I would battle him myself. And while I battled him, I had thoughts. And what I'm going to be talking tonight about is the importance of our thoughts. So while I was battling him, my thoughts were, how dare he? This shouldn't be happening in my house. This little jerk. I can't believe that I do so much for him and he's treating me this way. And the whole time we would be battling, I'd be thinking these thoughts. And they would make me really pissed off, as you can imagine. And after one night, one day after school, he came home and we had a particularly bad fight. I actually got myself to sit down at the kitchen table and do some journaling, which is very, very hard to do when you're pissed off. I wanted to chuck the journal across the room, but I have, over the last few years, with all of the life coaching, education I have and all of the life coaching experience I have, I know for me, journaling really helps me manage my mind. And so I sat down at my kitchen table and I wrote, this is the clean version of what I wrote. This is BS. He is a jerk. I can't believe this is happening to me. I do so much for this kid. Basically, this shouldn't be happening. But it was happening a lot. And so I asked myself in that moment 2 really important questions. The first question was, how do I want to feel right now? Because I didn't want to feel pissed off anymore. And this had gone on for a long time. And I decided in that moment that I wanted to feel love. Love for him, love for me, love for my whole family, that we are all going through this together. And even asking myself that question, which is a brilliant question, and I suggest you ask yourself this question, even asking myself this question really calmed me down. And then I asked myself the second question. And the second question I asked myself was, in order to feel this way, how do I need to think? What do I need to think in order to feel love in my body? And this question was a game changer for me. And I decided that in order to feel love in my body, I needed to think, this is why I'm alive right now. In order to help him right now, this is my purpose, this is why I'm alive. And it was a very emotional moment for me. And it made me realize that I was at a level 10 pissed. But when I thought this way, when I thought, like, why am I alive? What is my purpose here? And it's to help him. It took me from a level 10 pissed to a level 10 love in just a matter of seconds. I was so focused on why this shouldn't be happening to me instead of what possibly could he be going through to be acting the way he was acting. So why does this matter? So this matters because I made a plan. I made a plan that the next time he came home acting like a fool, I was going to walk into my closet and I was going to put my hand on my chest and I was going to say, it's go time. This is why I'm alive, to help him in this moment. So like clockwork, he came home a few days later and started acting a crazy. And like clockwork, I started matching his energy, like, let's go, And then I remembered. And then I remembered what the plan was. And so I walked back into my closet. He actually yelled, where are you going? And I'm like, I'll be right back. So I walked into he was confused for sure. And so I walked into my closet and I put my hand on my chest. Everyone put your hand on your chest for a moment. This is something we don't really do. We do this, we do this, we do this, but this isn't something we do. So this is something I like to do just to really center myself and get present. I'll do it at least once throughout the day. It helps me think in a certain way and feel in a certain way, and it helps me be intentional. So I walked into my closet and I said, it's go time. This is why I'm alive right now, to help him through this. And I felt the love in my body. And I actually felt a little excited because I was living my purpose. I mean, imagine next time one of your kids comes home and acts like a fool, and you actually took a minute to say, this is why I'm alive right now, to help this kid. It's not an annoyance. You're not frustrated. You're like, it's go time. And we're all looking for our purpose, right? That's what human beings do. We're always looking for our purpose. And so if you take a moment to realize that at any moment you can decide that that is your purpose, it's pretty powerful. For those few years when we were struggling with Tyler, that was my purpose. But there's going to be many times that my purpose is to help Justin or my purpose is to help Ryan. And so I went into my closet, I put my hand on my chest, I'm like, it's go time. And I walked back into the bedroom and I said, give me your hands. And he put his hands in mine. See, Tyler's love language is touch. And so it didn't matter how upset he was. It didn't matter what he was going through. If I ever tried to hug him or cuddle him or asked him to hug me, even if he was so pissed off, he would do it. And so I said, give me your hands. And he put his hands in mine, but he said, what are you doing? He was, of course, totally confused. And so what I told him was, I said, I don't know what you're going through right now. And I don't know why you're so angry. And I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first time being a mom to 15-year-old boys. But what I do know is the way I've been responding to you is not working. And I'm so sorry that you're going through this. But I now know that it is why I'm alive right now to help you through it. I was crying, he was crying, and he kind of fell on top of me. He's huge, so he kind of fell on top of me and we cried. Now, this was a pivotal moment in our relationship. It was a pivotal moment in my life because it made me realize the power of mindset, the power of being able to change your life by deciding what you want to think about something and knowing that it is going to affect how you show up for your life, how you show up for your children, how you show up for your body, whatever it is. I really realized the power of mindset. I really realized that if you have the ability to decide what you want to think about something, it drastically changes the results you're creating in your life. So for those of you who are visual learners, we're going to go old school with the little, flip chart. And I want to teach you, this is one of the tools I teach my clients. This is called a thought model. And this is how you manage your mind. This is how you learn to create whatever result you want in your life. And so it's pretty simple. So when I was, battling with my son, and I was telling myself things like, I don't deserve this, or other things where I don't deserve this shouldn't be happening, this is BS, all of that, poor me, sad story. I was telling myself, I don't deserve this, some form of that. And I was pissed because I wasn't pissed at him, I was pissed that I was saying, I don't deserve this, right? And when I was pissed, I would yell at him. I would talk louder than him. I would try to control him. I was talking louder than him, trying to get him to talk quiet. I would walk away from him, and I wasn't listening to him. And so all of this was because I was saying, I don't deserve this. And I was pissed. And this is everything I was doing. And the result it was creating is I was making the whole situation worse. And so when I took a moment at the kitchen table that day, and I decided how do I want to feel, it changed everything for me. So when I changed it that I wanted to feel love, and then I decided I would say to myself, this is why I'm alive. Hopefully you can all see this. This is why I'm alive, is to help him. This is my purpose right now. And I felt love. And when I was feeling love, I started listening to him. I used his love language because he wanted to feel loved. I was curious and I was compassionate. I didn't make it about me, and I owned my role in it. And the result was I helped him, and I actually fulfilled my purpose in the process. So this isn't just a great story. This really, what it teaches us is the power of being able to say, what do I want to think? How do I want to feel about this? It changes everything. It changes the way we show up. And it was so fun because I had him over about a month ago, and I said, hey, this is the story I want to tell during my speech. And of course he said, of course you can tell it. And so I said, but I want to read it to you. I want to make sure it's okay that everything I'm saying. And I read it, and we both got emotional again, even remembering it. And I told him, I said, I remember it like it just happened yesterday. It was that pivotal in my life. And I said, do you remember? And he said, I remember the hug. He remembers the hug because his love language is touch, and that is what he was wanting. Is he was in pain, and he was masking it by, anger. And so this story is not just a great story. It's a story that teaches us the power of our thoughts and beliefs. And if we want to up-level our body and life, this is what we need to do, is change our thoughts and beliefs. And so how does this relate to your body and life? I'm glad you asked. If you are not where you want to be in your body or your life, you have thoughts that are getting in the way. If you want to lose weight, there are thoughts that are keeping you where you're at. If you want to get stronger, there are thoughts that you need to change in order to get stronger. I really believe that there are, most women fit into one of three categories. I think the biggest group is women who want to lose weight, even 5 or 10 pounds. Then I believe there's a category of women that they're at their ideal weight, but they want to get stronger and healthier and more flexible. And then I do believe there are some women that are content. But with so many people not where they want to be, so many people wanting more for themselves, why are they struggling? It's because they don't have the mindset component. They haven't learned how to do this. They haven't learned how to decide what they want to think and decide how to feel in order to change what they're doing in their lives. So I have a story from a client a few years ago. She came to me and she wanted to lose 20 pounds. And the story she was telling herself was, I've tried everything. She didn't think it was a story. She thought this was the truth. She's like, and she literally was like, I have tried everything. And so I did a model for her, and I showed her that that story of her telling herself, I've tried everything, was actually hurting her. And it was actually keeping her in a body that she didn't want to be in. And so we started working together, and I said, the story has to change. You need to change what you're saying to yourself. You need to change your thought. And so she decided to change her thought to, maybe mindset is what I've been missing. She looked back at all the times she'd gone on diet after diet and gained it back and shamed herself, and that roller coaster that so many of us have been through. And she's like, I never really changed anything about me. I just changed my food. So maybe if I change my mindset, that is going to be what works for me. And so she started changing her mindset. She started writing it down every day. I always tell my clients, if you want to actually believe something new, you need to write it down every day. So she started writing that, like, mindset is what was missing for her. She started writing it down every day. She started feeling hopeful. Before, she was feeling hopeless. So she started feeling hopeful, and she started eating differently. She started being curious. She started trying, let's see if intermittent fasting works for me. Let's see if a new type of workout works for me. She started changing up what she was doing, and she lost 22 pounds. But more important than that, she became the person who could actually make a plan and stick to it. She became a person who actually had an idea, tried it, sometimes messed up, and then tried something else and didn't shame herself anymore. And now she could actually layer on to this skill, and she could try to do other things. Maybe she could stop procrastinating. Maybe she could take up jujitsu. Maybe she could ask for more money when she was at work. It's amazing what happens when you actually learn how to choose what you are thinking. And that will change what you're feeling, and that will change how you end up getting the results in your life. So for a moment, I want everyone to close their eyes, just for a moment. I want you to think about when you think of up-leveling your body and life, what do you want to up-level? How will you up-level your life? Okay, you can open your eyes. I don't think I need to give you much time, because I truly think that we all know what we want for ourselves. I think we carry our deepest desires with us all the time, and it's usually our thoughts that get in the way. Usually we have thoughts like, I'm too old, I'm in menopause, so this is just my body now. I'm hearing that one a lot lately. I don't have time. People are going to judge me. What else? I've tried it before and nothing has worked. These thoughts end up getting in our way and keeping us in a body or a life that we don't want to be in. And so my suggestion is that you choose something else that you want to believe for yourself. Something else like, I just have to do something different. This is a really great thought, especially for women in midlife, because am I the only one that thinks this? What we have been doing in terms of our body, the way we've been eating, working out, all that, a lot of times it stops working. Our bodies are really changing in midlife, and we, in fact, do have to do things differently. But a lot of women are just saying, like, I've tried it. I can't, what I'm doing is not working. But we need to think, I just have to do things differently. And if you actually thought that and practiced that belief and actually started to believe it on the regular, you would feel hopeless. Hopeful. Hopefully not hopeless. Hopefully you would feel hopeful and curious. And so if we think, I just have to do things differently, you feel hopeful and curious, and you would learn new ways of doing things. You would start to try to see, maybe yes, everything I've been doing isn't working, but maybe I can do something different. Because you were feeling hopeful, you would determine your triggers. Now, I call a trigger something like that's a hard time of day for you. Like for me, 4 o'clock is the hardest, still to this day. If I'm gonna eat a cookie, it's gonna be at 4 a.m., not at 10 a.m. It's gonna be at 4 p.m., not at 10 a.m. A trigger for you could be a certain type of food. A trigger for you could be a certain circumstance, like going to restaurants. I've had some clients that come to me and they say, I eat really well until I go and put me in front of a bread basket and I'm a mess. And so when you determine your triggers, you can kind of go into that situation. I like to tell my clients, like, with your hands up. Like, I know for me this week, because I've been getting ready for this and it's been stressful for me, right? Every week, every day at 4 o'clock, I'm like, let's go. Because I know that my brain is going to say, you should make a batch of cookies. My son the other day he got his wisdom teeth out and he goes, do you want me to get you a milkshake? And I'm like, that's a thought, right around 4 p.m. So when you're hopeful, you determine your triggers and then you're prepared for them. When you're hopeful, you find examples of women doing things differently and it actually working. Have you ever noticed that, like, when you get a new car, all of a sudden you start seeing on the street, everyone has that car? I knew when I was pregnant, all of a sudden I started noticing every actress that's pregnant, every person in town's pregnant. Then I found out I was having twins, and then everyone that was having twins, right? When we are looking for something, right, we can find examples of women doing things differently and things actually working, if you're hopeful and curious. And also, you'll invest in yourself. You'll invest time, money, whatever it takes, because you really have decided that you're hopeful and curious and you're going to do things differently. And the result is you actually make progress. So why do you want what you want? It's really important that you choose a powerful why. Women, we are amazing. I think that we are amazing, and I think that we are really good at doing for others. I think we are really good at, a lot of times, aligning our why with what benefits others. I have a lot of women tell me, I want to lose weight because I want to be healthy for my kids. I want to eat better so my partner eats better. I want to live longer so I'm around for my kids and grandkids. And these are all amazing. But I want to offer that you can want whatever you want just because you want it, intrinsically for you, just for the fun of it. Just because maybe you want to lose 15 pounds because you feel like you will look sexier. Maybe you want to lose a little bit of weight because you feel like you'll fit in your favorite jeans better. Maybe you want to get stronger because you're going to Italy this summer and you want to hike around Cinque Terre and be able to keep up, and it would just feel so good. So I suggest that you decide why, but have it be something fun and something for you. We are really, really good at doing for all the other people. And what ends up happening is when you really do for you something that you want just for yourself, even if it's losing weight, getting stronger, something like that, we end up being happier, and that ends up positively affecting everyone anyways. You know what they say, like, when mom's happy, everyone's happy? We know that. Okay, so now is the fun part. We know what you want. You know why. You're going to choose a powerful why. Now you want to choose a powerful thought that you want to believe. A thought kind of like, I just have to do things differently. One of my favorite thoughts is, this is my one life, so why the hell not? That's the thought that got me here tonight. When my friend Heather suggested I do something like this, and I said, no thank you, sir, that sounds horrible. I decided a few days later, I started thinking about it, and I thought, why the hell not? This is my one life. So another thought you might choose is, I deserve this. This is the perfect time for me. Many of us, some of us have babies here tonight, but many of us have kids that are growing up and they don't need us and they don't want us as much as they used to. And so maybe it's a good time for you. So you want to choose a powerful thought that is going to drive you to feel a powerful emotion. Maybe it's excited, maybe it's hopeful, maybe it's confident. But you want to think that thought, and you want to think it all the time. One of the things I teach my clients is the importance of practicing what you want to believe. It takes practice to get good at something. If you want to get good at pickleball, you practice. If you want to get good grades, when we were in college, we practiced in order to get good grades. We are on our kids to practice driving so they are safe drivers. So we know that practice is necessary to get good at something. And mindset is the same. You need to be able to practice it. You want to practice thinking something in order to believe it on the regular. One of the best ways to do this is to write it down every day and for a moment actually believe it's possible for you. So one of the things you're going to do is tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, damn, that was so fun last night. Courtney was amazing. And you're going to think your thought. Maybe you're going to choose this one. It's a great one. And you're going to think, I just have to do something differently. And for a minute, you're going to feel really good about it. And then all of a sudden, your brain is going to offer you a negative thought. Like, you know what? You've tried before, and you always give up. Right? Or maybe you're going to be like, you know what? Courtney doesn't know my story. I've got it harder. I'm busier. She doesn't understand. Okay? So what's going on there? Our brains are always going to try to stop us from up-leveling. It's confusing, I know. I know that I'm telling you here to choose a powerful thought, and it's going to give you a positive, powerful feeling, and that is going to get you the result you want. And now I'm telling you, your brain's never going to stop telling you negative thoughts that produce negative feelings. It's a bit of a roller coaster. What happens is when you start to up-level your life, when you start to have a thought like this, and you start taking these actions, you're going to be doing different things. You're going to be doing different things than you've ever done, and your brain gets a little bit nervous because your brain's job is to keep you alive. And when you're doing things differently, there's a risk there. And so it is going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up and you're going to say, you know what? I am starting to eat better. Gosh darn it, I'm doing it. And you're going to, all day, you're going to be eating good. And then all of a sudden, right around 4 o'clock, even your body's going to change. You're going to be like, you know what? This is just not the time for this. This is not the time. Or you're going to think what my brain tells me all the time is, you've been eating good all day today. You deserve a treat. My brain still likes to tell me that I deserve a treat after every single meal, even after breakfast. It still does. We have 60,000 thoughts, over 60,000 thoughts a day. I have no idea where the research came, that's an oddly specific number, but Google says we have over 60,000 thoughts a day, so it must be true. And with all of these thoughts coming in our head constantly, most of them are on automatic. We've been thinking them for a long time. A lot of these thoughts, we didn't even choose to think. They were given to us by our parents or by the schools or by our upbringing. And depending on your childhood and your upbringing, these thoughts might be serving you or they might not. When I was growing up, my parents hammered a thought into me, especially when I was in high school, and the thought was you need to start investing in your retirement at a young age. Very specifically, right out of college, you need to max out your 401k. I did not think this was a thought. I thought it was actually in the Bible. They said it to me like it was just, this is what everyone does. In order to survive, this must be done. It was just a thought, and it was a thought that served me well. It's a thought that now I am delivering to my children as it's like in the Bible. But when I was in 6th grade, I had a teacher that would repeatedly make jokes at my expense. I had blonde hair, and she would make blonde jokes. And so the messaging was, you're blonde, you're dumb, you're fun. I was fun. She did give me credit for being fun, but you're not very smart. And that had negative implications throughout my whole life. But now that I'm an adult, I get to look back at all of these thoughts and beliefs in my head, and I get to decide which ones I want to keep. And I can decide to keep the ones from my parents because they feel good. And I can decide that I'm not going to keep the one from the teacher because it feels bad. But with all these thoughts swirling around our heads, some which we do not want, it's a practice to decide which ones you want to believe and which ones you want to let go of. And just because I want to let go of the one from the teacher, it's still there. But it's okay as long as I know how to manage my mind. So I want you to imagine you're driving a car. I want you to imagine you have a minivan. This was my life like 10 years ago. You have a minivan, and let's say you're driving 8 kids. One of them is yours, and then like 7 of their friends. Now, some of these kids are delightful. Some of these kids are your kids. Some of these kids are delightful. And some of these kids are annoying. Some of these kids are your kids too. And you get to decide who's in the front seat. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I would take my kids and their friends around, sometimes I'm like, you in the back, I want to take one of you, and I want to put you in the front. So you get to decide who you want in the front seat. Are you going to choose someone who is delightful, who is like pleasant conversation? Or are you going to choose an annoying kid that's going to be grabbing at the steering wheel and turning around and taking a seatbelt and yelling? It's the same with our thoughts and beliefs. If you're not where you want to be in your body and life, you just need to choose who you want in the front seat. You need to choose the thoughts and beliefs that make you feel good and keep them close to you. And the ones that are not serving you and the ones that don't feel good, put them in the way back. They're still going to be back there. They're going to yell sometimes. They're going to reach over and try to grab the steering wheel because they're rude. But they're going to be there, and it's okay. But you have to practice. It is a practice to decide who is going to be close to you and practice believing those thoughts that make you feel good and get what you want from your life. So I want to talk about allowing negative emotions. It's so fun. That was a joke. So we know that when we are doing something that is outside of our comfort zone, we have to allow ourselves to be scared. We have to do something and we have to allow something new, and we have to allow ourselves to be insecure or feel doubt. It is the way to be able to up-level your life. If you want to do something you've never done before, you need to know that you are going to have emotions come up that are unsettling and that make you feel doubt and make you, just like I was telling you earlier, that just make you feel scared. I wouldn't be here tonight if I wasn't willing to have both. So when I decided to do this event, I had a lot of powerful thoughts. I thought, this is going to be an amazing night. I'm going to get so many people. It's going to be fun for me, fun for them. It's going to start, up-leveling my speaking career. But it's been 3 months since I booked this beautiful venue, and I have had a lot of negative emotions. I've been scared. I've been doubtful. I've felt foolish. I've been insecure, and I have had to allow all of it. It is the beautiful allowing of both. And this whole time I've been planning this event, my brain has been telling me, you're not going to get enough people there to fill the seats. You're going to get too many people there. People are going to be pissed if they don't have a seat. You're going to trip over the cord as you hold the mic. You're going to have a hot flash. You're going to get all sweaty in front of everyone. You're going to forget your speech. And I had to allow all of those negative thoughts to come in and keep telling myself, this is going to be good, but allowing all those negative thoughts at the same time. And so what happens, why do we have this roller coaster where we have this positive thought, but then we also have these negative thoughts? We have a primitive brain. Human beings were all wired to stay alive. And our primitive brain wants us to constantly be doing 3 things: seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and conserving energy. This is what has kept us alive, humans, for a long time. But our primitive brain, in attempting to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy, it doesn't want us to up-level because there's danger in some of this. Right now, you're all surviving, but maybe you're not thriving as much as you would want to. But there's danger when you start doing things new. Maybe people are going to judge you. Maybe you are going to be at the gym and fall off the treadmill like in one of those funny videos. Maybe you're going to try and then you're going to be disappointed that something doesn't work out for you. You need to be willing to have your primitive brain introduce thoughts that are contradicting to the thought that you want to choose. One of the things I hear a lot from my clients and from people that book consultations with me is that they say they don't want to be deprived. And I get it. And I think this is what's going on is for so many people, they want to lose weight or they want to get healthy and they'll go on a diet. And they'll say, I'm going on a diet for 15 days or 30 days, whatever it may be. And they deprive themselves. They take away all the alcohol, all the delicious food, and they have an end date and they do it. And they lose weight. And they start losing weight pretty quickly. But they deprive themselves for a certain amount of time, knowing that at the end they're going to celebrate with their cocktail or have their first piece of bread, and they're going to promise themselves that they're going to do it different this time. This time they're not going to go back. They're not going to gain the weight back. And then as they start eating like the way they normally did, they start gaining the weight back. And so then they have a negative experience with deprivation because they know that it doesn't work. So when they come to me and they're like, I want to hire you, but I don't want to be deprived. And what I tell them is, I get that, but one of the ways you can look at deprivation is it's just a human emotion. You can experience a little deprivation here and then to actually start eating differently for the rest of your life. To actually start showing up differently with the way you eat and with the way you work out and feel a little deprived. Many of my clients decide that they would rather be a little deprived with their food intake than be deprived when they go to wear a bathing suit this summer and they feel like they're not having as good a time as they would be if they were actually in the body that they wanted to be. A lot of times my clients will tell me that they want to start, working out. Maybe some of you are thinking, Saturday morning, I'm doing it. I'm going to the gym. I've had my InMotion membership for 6 months. I'm going to the gym. What's going to happen on Saturday morning is you are going to feel dread. Right now it sounds amazing. It always sounds amazing when we're planning something. When we have a plan, we feel so good. But Saturday morning is going to come and you're going to feel dread. Can you be willing to feel dread in order to reach your goals? Can you be willing to feel a little bit of dread and put your pants on and shoes and go to the gym, knowing that you're not going to feel dread this summer when you're on vacation because you're going to feel good? Last thing I want to talk about tonight is this term I hear a lot that I love. It's called, you've heard people say, we can do hard things. I love this. I think there's even a poster of a woman going like that. We can do hard things. But so often when people talk about the things that they've done that are hard, the things that have been put upon them, things like a diagnosis or a financial situation or a circumstance that's been put on them that's out of their control. And what I want to suggest, those are amazing things, and they are doing hard things. But what I want to suggest is that you do something hard just for the fun of it, just to get what you truly want from your body and your life. Throwing yourself into the fire of doing some hard things, doing things differently because you want to get a different result in your life. So it's so important for you to know that you have so much more control over all of it than a lot of times in society we believe. And it all starts with your mindset. It all starts with deciding what you want to think about something. That is going to make you feel a certain way, and you are going to show up for your life differently because you are feeling differently. And you need to hold space for both. You need to know that you can have this great feeling, but your brain is going to hammer you with some negative thoughts along the way, and that's okay too. You can experience dread or fear coming and talking to a bunch of amazing women in your hometown, scared you're going to forget your speech, scared you're going to have a hot flash, trip over a cord, but you can do it in order to up-level your life. So, thank you for coming. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. If you are interested in talking with me about working with me as a private one-on-one client, I work one-on-one with women right now. If you are interested in losing weight permanently and feeling in control around food and all of that, schedule a consultation with me. That is the first step. Or you can talk to me tonight, but scheduling a consultation is very powerful. I actually had a woman have a consultation with me a few weeks ago, and she told me after, she goes, "You've changed my life from the consultation." I'm like, I'll take that. Can I get that in writing? And so there are cards all over the tables, my business cards. If anyone didn't get a pair of earrings, I have a sign-up form. I will make you a pair of earrings. It means so much to me that you all came. So make sure if you didn't get one tonight, you sign that. And then, are there any questions?
I have a question. So you've started the jewelry business and done well with that. You're an amazing mother, amazing wife. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to do weight loss for your focus?
That's a good question. Thank you. It's so well spoken. Yes, I actually coach on a lot of different things, and I've coached kids with anxiety, and I've coached women in business and just general life coaching. And what started happening, I started coaching a lot of women in business, and they started coming to me, and I was saying, like, hey, let's get on Instagram, let's start putting yourself out there. And many women would say, I just don't feel good in my body. I don't even want to make a video of myself because I don't feel like I look good. And so I said, well, what do you want? And they're like, I'd like to lose 20 pounds, and then I'm like, well, let's lose 20 pounds. And then we can, keep going. And so it really made me realize that, like, when you get to a place where you feel good in your body, feel good and feel like you look good, it changes everything in your whole life. And for me, many of you maybe on my podcast heard my story, but most people would say that I've been thin my whole life. Anyone who knows me would be like, she's always been thin. But I really battled and had like a war in my head around 12 pounds. And it's, for many people, would be like, what's the big deal? It was a big deal to me. And for many women, they want to lose 5 or 10 pounds, and it's this just constant, I just have to lose it, up, down, up, down. And so I got my place through life coaching and having a coach and being part of a coaching program. I learned how to feel in control around food while still being able to have a cocktail, while still being able to have a cookie when I want to have a cookie. And it really has changed my whole life, because I felt like there was a war in my head for probably about 2 years. It was a struggle for me. So it's a big deal. When you feel great, not perfect, because we're all aging, when you feel great and you realize you can do it imperfectly and just eat better and be healthier in general, it changes everything. So, and I love the jewelry, but the jewelry's hard on my body, and I've done the jewelry for so long, and I know that that's why a lot of you are here tonight. It means so much to me, and I love that company. I love Gracie Glass, but coaching changes people's lives, and it's just, it's my like second chapter. It's my up-leveling. So, yeah. Any other questions? Dad? Thank you. I know my shirt. Thank you. My shirt kind of came undone. What made me wear this outfit? Well, it's a special event. Special event. Anyone else? Well, go ahead.
Thank you for getting up there and doing your hard thing, because you're amazing and inspirational.
Thank you.
But for those of you or people that don't really understand what coaching is,
Yeah.
and what that would look like, if we wanted to work one-on-one with you, are you going to give us a meal plan and you can only eat this? You're going to run me around the park?
Yes, lots of running. Yes. That's a good question, because a lot of people don't know. Thank you for asking. That's a great question. Yeah. Oh, well, okay, yeah, so her question was, a lot of people don't know what life coaching is, and they don't know what it's like to work with a life coach. So am I going to whip and make people run and make meal plans? And there's a whole bunch of different kinds of coaches. I don't make meal plans for people. The people who hire me come to me, and almost every time they go, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. And I'm like, yep. And so no, I mean, I am not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist. The women that come to me are highly educated, very intelligent women. They know what they should and shouldn't be eating. And for I have a lot of women that come to me and they'll say, I've hired a nutritionist, I've hired a dietitian, and the problem isn't that we don't know what kind of lean protein to get. The problem is we're eating too many cookies and bread and cocktails. We're eating too much of that. And you don't have to get rid of all of it, for sure. But you can eat less, or, on certain days eat less and eat better and be in the body you want to eat. Great question. Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah, I will be doing group at some point. Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. And you know what? It seems like a vulnerable thing to have a group to talk about weight loss, but learning to manage your eating and feeling control around food and losing weight in a group is brilliant. I will eventually do groups. Yeah. Thank you. That's a good question. All right, guys. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
When you start working with someone, how often typically are you meeting with them or communicating with them?
Yeah, so I will meet once a week with people for 6 months, because this takes time. This is a practice. It takes time this isn't an 8-week boot camp, So it's once a week. But then I have my podcast. I don't know if you know, but I have a really great podcast. But the people who pay to work with me, they get to have access to me all the time. So they can message me anytime they're struggling or celebrating or losing their minds or anything. They have access to me. Yeah, because I want it to be very just immersive. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, guys. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's it.